critically acclaimed original programming on cable, the whole "is TV better than movies" debate, all of this was in the future. What seemed to me, and to everybody else, the distant future. Most of the predictions we would run were in the form of sound bites solicited in phone interviews. J.G. Ballard. I look forward to the day when specialty video producers, the equivalent of Sun Records and the like in the music business 20, 30 years ago, and the equivalent of small publishers in the book trade, really can begin to reach out to the public. Paula Abdul. The big movie musical will return to prominence in this decade as recording artists take the video music concept one step further. But for the keynote address, so to speak, I thought Martin Scorsese would be ideal. The filmmaker was also a well-known film lover, passionately concerned with film preservation, and a great proponent of home video as a medium, however initially imperfect, for movie appreciation. So I got the number for his office and called. I was greeted by Julia Judge, his assistant at the time. I laid out what we wanted to do, and I also stipulated that if Scorsese had neither the time nor inclination to sit down and write such a piece himself, I would be delighted to come up to the office, interview him, and construct a as-told-to piece. Either way, I said, we would pay Scorsese $3,000 for a 1,000-word article. $3,000? Judge responded, sounding impressed. I wasn't aware of it at the time, but the director was still trying to bounce back from personal financial crisis dating from earlier in the decade. His cinematic output continued, but the fieriness that distinguished his prior pictures frequently took a different and sometimes less volatile form. His critical profile seemed to have diminished ever so slightly during this time as well. In 1985's After Hours, he experimented with a form of proto-indie guerrilla filmmaking. In 1986, The Color of Money was a sequel to The Hustler and starred Paul Newman and a very up-and-coming Tom Cruise. A solid film with solid returns. He worked for his old friend Steven Spielberg, directing an episode of the later's attempt to revive the Twilight Zone television series. He was sought out by megastar and future king of pop Michael Jackson to make a music video. He contributed to the anthology film New York Stories with fellow graying eminences Francis Coppola and Woody Allen. Scorsese was the youngest of the three. And he was also able to achieve, finally, his passion project for many years, an adaptation of Nicholas Kazantzakis' novel The Last Temptation of Christ, which attracted the wrong kind of controversy at the wrong time. Controversy of the sort, one would think, to make Scorsese look like a troublemaker in the eyes of the studio heads. To make matters worse, the controversy did not translate into box office success by any metric. I can't say that Scorsese was feeling as if he was standing on shaky ground when I came along with the video review offer. But I'll always remember being struck by the enthusiasm with which my offer was accepted. Another well-known writer I was pursuing for the project was demanding $5 a word and a free video camcorder, neither of which video review was willing, finally, to cough up for him. Judge soon got back to me taking up the offer and stipulating that Scorsese would indeed be too busy to sit down and write it himself. Often when the director has a magazine article or op-ed piece with his byline attached, he's done it with the assist of a writer. For many years, the critic and director Kent Jones, who also worked for a period as Scorsese's video archivist, filled that role. We set a date for the third week of December. Scorsese's office at the time was in the Brill Building, the legendary then-entertainment industry cynosure on the outer edge of Manhattan's Times Square. Its reputation was built around the fact that it once held the offices of song publishers, many of whose staff and freelance songwriters in the 50s and 60s would become superstars after doing time there. Carole King, Neil Diamond, etc. The structure also housed offices.
To keep listening to this audiobook for free, click the link in the description. It will take you to a free Audible trial where you can listen to this and many other books for free for 30 days.